Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the word that we're about to hear, and we know that this word was something that we need today. We trust that the Holy Spirit is going to work it here through the word. Amen. So, a farmer and his family, they lived out west like all their lives. But they had to go to the big city one day because they had to view some legal documents. And so they load up, right? They load up, they head to the city all Beverly Hills style. And then they pull outside like this massive skyscraper. And the farmer says to his family, stay here. I ain't gonna be long. Little John's, oh, Dad, can I come too? And he's like, all right. But the rest of you stay in the truck. So they get out of the truck and they go up the steps and they arrive at the front entrance when the doors, like right before them, just suddenly open. He's like, wow, Dad, did you see that? The doors, they just open all by themselves. And he says, yeah, son, you never know what you're going to find in the city. So they're wandering around, they're kind of marveling at all the fixtures, all of the things in the building. And so the farmer asks for directions, like, where am I going? And the clerk points over to the silver doors. And so they go over there, and they stand right in front of it, not knowing what to do next. Before you know it, it opens. And an old woman goes in, and then the door shuts. A couple minutes later, the door opens again, and out steps this beautiful young woman. An old woman went in, and a beautiful young woman came out. The farmer turned to his son and said, quick, go get your mother. You see, church, I think we all could use like a magic makeover elevator, right? Can you imagine, like, I'm gonna go get ready for work. Ding. It's like, I'm getting ready for my class reunion. Ding. I'm getting ready to go look cute so I can make my ex jealous. Ding. All of those things. You know, when I was younger, my mom would always color her hair like all the time, since she was 13 to be exact. And we always laugh joke like, she don't even know what color her hair really is. You know, she can't even remember. And it wasn't until she was 60 that she decided she was going to let it grow out to see how great it was and what color it was. And y'all, gosh, it grew out so beautifully. It was like gray highlights through, you know, chestnut brown, and they were so even. And I used to love brushing it, especially towards the end. And last week, I loved brushing her hair. And even now, I have a locket of her beautiful hair that I treasure. And that way, at least one of us would know what color her hair looked like. So my mom would color her hair all the time, right? And when I was a young boy, one day she was in the bathroom, you know, doing her business. And so the door opens and like she runs out like frantically, like towards me with that towel, you know how we do, wrapped up on her head, you know, like a soft serve ice cream going backwards. And she runs up to me, she's like, my hair is green. It's green, Jonathan. I was like, well, that's kind of like the opposite of the makeover elevator, but okay. So after we got through laughing hysterically, Mom says, we're going to drive to HB, and I need you to go in for me and just get another color to cover this up. I'm like, okay, what color? I don't know, just choose something brownish. I trust you. And I said, Mom, I'm 7. I was like, why didn't she ask me? But I don't know, maybe she was the first to know that I was gay. Who knows? Kind of makes sense, looking back. But her hair turned out beautiful. And so, because of that, then I'm responsible through high school and beyond for coloring her hair, highlighting her hair, looking at all of these things. But oh, how I miss that lovely hair. So a makeover, right? A transformation, a change. Today is Transfiguration Sunday. Or you could really just call it Transformation Sunday. It's a day to be transformed. You see, there are so many transfigurative moments in all of our lives and in all of our relationships, marriages and breakups and childbirth and losing a loved one. Maybe even your first visit to this church or any church, or maybe your baptism. Maybe that was it, where you came out of the water all cleansed, letting everyone know that God has taken hold of your life. But what happened after all the water dropped? Did your life improve? Were your relationships transformed? You see, maybe as we look over our lives today, we can see that maybe we are in need of a makeover elevator of sorts. In need of a meaningful, transfigurative moment in our current relationships. And when I say relationship, I mean all of those relationships in your life. All of them. Partner, family, friends, co-workers, peers, that lady you yell at the Walmart counter. All of them. You know who you are. But just everybody that you interact with. Maybe some of those people aren't as healthy as they should be. Girl, don't we know it? Maybe you fight too much. Maybe, you push each other's buttons. Maybe you nag too much. Maybe you sweat the small stuff. Maybe there's addictions in the mix, which always puts a strain on things. Maybe there's trust issues. Maybe there's jealousy. Maybe there's underlying anger issues. Baggage, not the good kind. Or maybe things seem just fine, right? Or maybe you just become complacent. Maybe you interrupt. Perhaps your relationships just need to be deepened and strengthened and re-energized. You see, maybe more love just needs to bubble up to the top. Maybe we all need to get in the makeover elevator. You see, no matter where you are in your life or in your relationship, there is always room for improvement. Always. And as a good friend once told me, honey, we all need makeovers, yeah? Many friends have said that exact thing to me. But you see, when we decide to transform like all the relationships in our life, it seems like a big task, right? Like, oh my gosh, like there's so many people involved. Like how am I going to transform dozens of relationships with dozens of people? I mean, sheesh, like, how am I going to do that? How is that possible? But really, if we step back, we can see that there's a common denominator in all our relationships. It's you. It's you. It's me. It's all of us. We're the only constant in all of those things. So we must take ownership of our part. We must understand that if we want to make over our relationships, then we must make over ourselves. Because you are the one ingredient that you have control over. That is all you are responsible for. You are the one ingredient that you have control over, and that's all you're responsible for. You see, transfiguration, right? It's defined as an outward change in form or appearance in order to glorify or to lift up. I mean, don't we all want to lift up our relationships? Lord knows I do. Don't we want to lift them up rather than tear them down? Don't you want an outward change? Ding! Of course you do. Of course you do. But the only way to achieve an outward change is to undergo an inner change. A transformation of the heart, a transfiguration of the soul, and a much needed elevator, inner makeover. And that can only come from one place. Jesus Christ, creator of the earth and the perfecter of men. The book of Peter says that he is a light. He is a light dawning in the dark places, a morning star that's rising in our hearts. It's time for Jesus. To overcome all those things and to dawn in our heart. It's time for our inner makeover. The apostles today, as we get to the word, and it's in Matthew chapter 17, the apostles today are in need of their own inner makeover. They need a wake-up call. And you can find inside your bulletin the scripture that's there, or if you have your Bible, you're welcome to follow us along as well. But the apostles, they're in need of an inner makeover. They need a wake-up call for sure. You see, in the chapters before this, Jesus asked the disciples, he says, well, who do people say that I am? Who do all the people say that I am? And they said, well, some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, some say Jeremiah, one of the prophets. If you ask the Pharisee, a blasphemer, a heretic. But Jesus says, and this is important, most important, who do you say that I am? Who do you? And Peter often speaks without thinking all the time. All the time in the scripture. He says, you're the Messiah. You're the Son of the living God. Very good. But then, like things turn. Jesus is like, oh, and by the way, like I'm going to be killed next week, and I'll be risen up on the third day, and so I'm going to die soon. And Peter's like, what? Like, no, Jesus, this will never happen to you, my Lord, he says. Oh, Peter, it wasn't a question. It wasn't a question. If you really believe that he is the Christ, then why are you questioning his words to you? Did you hear him? Who are you to rebuke the Messiah? You see, contrary to his words, he said what he needed to say, but he must not fully understand who Jesus is, because his reaction to those words, it did not reflect it. You see, Peter needs a wake-up call, a spiritual slap in the face, an inner makeover. We don't condone violence within this church. Right, it's on the back of the bulletin, disclaimer. But Peter needs a wake-up call, and the Lord was about to give it to him. He's about to make it clear just who Jesus was. He's going to make it clear. Peter, James, and John, they are walking, and they're barefoots upon the cool rocks, and they follow Jesus up the mountain, you know, in his peaceful presence. And then suddenly, like, they are startled. Like, there's this glorious, like, overpowering light that comes down from the sky, and they're like, oh my God, it's aliens. Not really. But they cover their face. They see this light, they cover their face, and they look at their fingers, and they see where it's coming from. It's the face of Jesus. It's brilliantly shining like the sun. They shield their eyes, it's so bright, but that blinding radiance, it just keeps coming. And they stand like baffled, like what's going on, with their mouths open. And then suddenly Jesus, he begins to transfer. He changes like right before their very eyes. Ding! His clothes begin to glow as white as the light of heaven. And out of nowhere, it's like Moses and Elijah appear, like boom, right next to him. And they're like, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, bro, what's up? But what really was going on? What was going on? They did not only just appear before their very eyes, they're talking with Jesus. They're real. So Moses and Elijah appear. And this has historical importance in Jesus' ministry because Moses represents the law and Elijah represents the prophets, which shows that Jesus indeed fulfills the law and he fulfills the prophecies. And his majesty as the Messiah is undeniable. Who do you say I am? So the three of them are talking in the light. Jesus and Moses and Elijah. Can you imagine? How long were they talking? What did they say? All of those things, sometimes in the scripture, like in between the periods, there's always more that I want to know. And I think God keeps us guessing and pondering so that we could be connected to the scripture. So, everyone found this to be an extraordinary moment. Everyone kind of except for the apostles, you know, because they see this and they start trembling in fear. It's like suddenly, like this cloud, there's more. Suddenly the cloud comes and this voice booms from above and says, this is my son, and I'm well pleased with him. Listen to him. The apostles are like, ah! They're scared, you know, they're frightened, trying to figure out, like, what is going on? Like, oh, I just hallucinated. Moses and Elijah, you know, and now God has spoken. This is my son whom I'm well pleased. Where have we heard that before? It was spoken when Jesus was baptized, right? The dove came down, and God said those same words. This is my son, who I am well pleased with. But today, God adds 3 extra words to that. He says, listen to him. Those are the same words God is shouting from the clouds today, like, listen to him. We must move from baptism to a transfiguration, from mere acceptance to a complete adherence of change. You see, the apostles that day, without a doubt, they received their wake-up call. And it was the beginning of their inner makeover. You see, Jesus, he wasn't the only one that was transfigured that day. The apostles, they see Jesus in a new light, right? They knew who he was. Jesus is now more than the man of the moment. He's more than a teacher, greater than a rabbi, more glorious than a healer, more than just a wise guy on the mountain. He's the Messiah. And there's no doubt, the anointed one from God. So listen to him. So that day on the mountain, you see the apostles' relationship with Jesus, it was transformed, which it also needs to be for us. See, they gazed on it. They understood the magnitude of his glory as they just caught a glimpse of the kingdom to come. You see, the call of today's gospel is for our relationships with Christ to undergo its own transfiguration so that our hearts can be transformed, so that we can have an outward change, a change that lifts up every single one of the relationships in our life for the betterment. You see, through his words in the gospel, God's very clear. If you truly understand who my son is and what he endured for you, why aren't you listening to him? Why? If you truly understand, why are you not treating one another better? If you truly understand, why are you not treating yourselves better? You see, if we don't listen to him or act on his words, in a way, we might be rebuking him the same way Peter pompously did. So after the transfiguration on the mountain, apostles were terrified. And so they lay down, right? They lay down, their face is on the rocks. They're like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? You know, they were scared. They were unsure about the future. So today, I mean, if you feel like your relationship with Jesus or with one another or yourself is on the rocks in any way, I want you to imagine yourself lying next to Peter on the mountain, planking. Your face is on the ground, right? You're laying there, you're frightened, unsure of what's going to happen in your relationships. And as you lie there, you feel this warm, this comforting touch, maybe on your shoulder, maybe on your forehead, maybe on your cheek. And you hear those familiar, soothing, reassuring voice of Christ. And he whispers the very same thing to you that he says to Peter. Get up. Get up. And do not be afraid. If you feel like you've fallen down in your relationships or in your life, don't be afraid to get up again and dust yourself off. We came to this table today. Dust yourself off. Do not be afraid to get up and rise above whatever it is that you're dealing with that's unworthy of the kingdom of God. And that includes the things inside ourselves. Do not be afraid to open your relationships up, to center them around the one who even makes that possible in the first place. God is calling you to transfigure your relationship with his beautiful son. You've heard the story too. You know who he is. He's calling you to not be afraid. For his amazing grace makes it so easy to come home. And his forgiveness, it paves the way for your full return to the Savior. You see, be transformed, church. Believe that it's possible. If you do this, then peace will reign inside you, transforming you. And the bliss that you are going to receive in changing yourself for the better, and thus with all the people that you love, will absolutely blow you away. Just like Jesus, it will blow you away. Today I implore you to allow yourself to be changed. Sometimes we're not very good at that, right? Put our feet in the ground, we're stubborn, I'm too old to be changed. But you got to allow yourself. And that means taking a hard look. Take a hard look at ourselves. Because and that's what I want you to remember today. You are the one ingredient in all your relationships that you have control over. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. So get up, don't be afraid, listen to him. You see, you may have made a mess of some of your relationships. We all have. But you can transform it by transforming first your heart, then your thoughts, and then your actions, and thus yourself. And then your relationships will follow. See, God is calling us to step into that makeover elevator so that we we can be transfigured. Not by our own doing, but by God's. Amen.
Amen.